Welcome to episode 464 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Johnny, what's up, dude?
What's up? Sorry, I've been like zoning out.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, I'm
Do you want
I'm
to
cooked,
start
as the
this
kids
over?
say right now.
Yeah, do you know what
No.
show you're on?
No, so on Monday I drank like 3 Red Bulls, and I was like really pumped up. Today I had like no caffeine, and now I'm like super down. So sorry. Maybe that's better for the listeners.
Well, Cheesy, how's it going?
What's going on, cheese curds?
And Crawler, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you. Did you say palindrome? Is that what we got going right now?
464. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Palindrome.
That's true. That is true. Well, but before we get started, guys, I've mentioned the one-shot energy chews before. It sounds like Johnny could use some,
Yeah, I think I
honestly.
need one.
So I put out a TikTok the other day promoting the orange mango because that's my favorite flavor, and I said in the video I hadn't had the toxic limeade yet, and they left a comment on the video saying we need to remedy that. I woke up that morning to an order of a box of toxic limeade being sent to me, their voice drops, and a t-shirt from those guys. So if if you doesn't matter what size creator you are, they want to work with you. So if you are a creator of some kind, reach out to them. That's oneshotenergy.com. And you can save, I believe it's 10% on an order by using code N64Josh and picking up any of the energy chews, John. So I think it'd be a good idea for you
Yeah, I have to go to your
to
page.
yeah,
And
maybe yeah, get some coming. I think you'd enjoy them. So I saw them do a video too where they dropped some in Sprite and then it like turned the Sprite like caffeinated, and they dissolve really quick with the carbonation or something apparently. So kind of interesting there. But yeah, oneshotenergy.com and then coupon code N64Josh. And then if you're on the TikTok shop, you can go to my page and look at my showcase. There's some there as well, and sometimes TikTok's got great coupons. So lastly, I want to invite everybody to come hang out and do pipe trials in the Discord. I can't believe how many people are racing with us. It's part of the Dirt, which is the Mario Kart podcast, which is 5 episodes strong so far if you want to check that out. And thank you to everybody that has and has left reviews and stuff on iTunes. It's I was just about at 1,000 downloads already, so appreciate you guys for that. And but we're doing Royal Raceway, which I think is kind of fitting because of Princess Peach Showtime, and that's what everybody picked when we did the vote. So if you want to get involved, it's just standard wheels, pipe frame, any glider and any character, and it's unbelievable how good some of these people are at Mario Kart with that setup. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Before we jump into the show, though, Johnny, where can people connect with you?
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and the Communication Air podcast.
I feel like Johnny's just lagging. Cheesy, where can people connect with you?
You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Communication Error Podcast, CheezyC64, CheezyC64.
And Crawler.
Best spots are TikTok and Twitter. Nightcrawler724. Nightcrawlers without the E.
All right. Well, our new opening segment's kind of the like anything new and noteworthy. And if you guys are watching the stream or the video after the fact, you're seeing Metalhead, which was sent to me. And this game came out, I believe, mid-March. And they sent me a code, and then they emailed me today, and they're like, "Hey, did you get any coverage?" And I was like, "No, I couldn't find this email with the code." So I downloaded and jumped into it, and it's a twin stick shooter with gorgeous pixel art. The sound design, the music, and everything, which I know you guys aren't hearing right now, is done very, very well. and it's actually pretty. It's a fairly difficult game. It's not just your like.
Is it kind of a Binding of
like-
Isaac roguelike?
It looks like it's Enter the Gungeon style.
Yeah. So what
Is there a dash? I haven't seen you dash, but is there a dash?
Yes. So what it is like basically what you're seeing on the screen right now is like 4 different parts you can buy. And then as you clear a room, a chest will show up, and then that will have either a weapon, or you can change out your head or your legs for different mobility, and then maybe like a like a glide or a it could be a dash or a sprint. Like there's different. You're just constantly upgrading and changing your character as you're going through, and you're leveling up. You're getting more powerful, but the 3 or 4 runs that I did just trying to get the hang of the game. The funny thing is I recorded this multiple times. The first time I was playing with my GameCube controller, well, you need the minus button to access things. So
Oh.
I'm like, how do I teleport? Well, then it dawned on me. It's like, oh, I hit the minus button, and that wasn't on the controller. So I pulled the Joy-Cons off and played that way, and then was able to do everything I needed to. But it I never got to a point where it saved my progress. Like I kept dying, trying to get to
I
like
think
the end of the stage or whatever it is.
I think you're playing a roguelike.
Is there anything persistent
Well,
that carries over?
but what I'm saying is nothing was carrying over. That's what I'm like. I wasn't getting far enough to have anything carry over, but I the gameplay is tight. Like I said, the graphics are tight. So like everything seems solid. It's just if you like right here, I'm jumping into this room, and it ended up taking most of my health trying to fight these waves of enemies. And then by the time I got back out, you'll see I end up getting hit. But you see how I'm jumping around right there a little bit. You'll see I start moving a little bit quicker. You can use ZL to move out of the way,
There
kind
it
of
is. Yep.
dash. So again, like probably not your typical let's relax and play games. It's going to be a little bit sweatier. Very, like kind of got that old school feel to it, with it. I mean, it reminded me of like zombies ate my neighbors. That kind of play gameplay. And but again, just the explosions and everything looks really really gorgeous on this thing. So I'm excited to dig into it further. It's just like I
It's
said, the
called
first 3
Metal
runs, I was
Mind.
like,
Metal Mind, by the way. I think you called
Metal
it
Mind.
Metal
What I call it, Metalhead. Oh, blame that
Yeah.
on the Ninja Turtles. So the 4 corner layout reminds me of Smash TV. Cryptic says, yeah, and then the way you move, yeah, and so you move. I think when you finally clear all the rooms in the map, I think that's when you go to the next. But every time I get like 3 to 4 of them done, and there was like maybe 6 or 9 or whatever, I would get like have 3 left, and then I would end up dying. So it like
It says
Get good.
Says it's a top-down shooter that blends mech modding with roguelite. So it's a roguelite.
there you go. So and again, like I probably would have figured that out had I actually cleared a map, but because when you don't clear the map, you don't leave with anything. You just come back out with this head and no arms or anything. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, and you guys know me and roguelikes, right? But this is one I want to keep trying and keep trying to figure it out, just mainly because of how good it looks and how good the sound is. Like the music alone, I was like, how game music needs to be able to play on repeat and not get annoying. Like they kind of nailed this. Like it just kind of has like a cyberpunk, like synth wave kind of vibe to it. And
Well,
I was
you could
definitely
tell
digging
them
it.
that
So
you made a sale because I just bought it.
well, there you go. There you go.
This
Another
looks right up my alley.
Yeah, it looks fun.
yeah, like, and when I saw I don't take many titles anymore because I'm like, I know I won't have time to cover them. But when this one came through, I was like, yo, this looks like my jam. And I think as you level up and get better and stronger and everything, it's gonna open up the game quite a bit. So uh that's why I grabbed it. There's another game for a studio that's going to be I'm working on getting the interview set up. I believe it's called Evernights is another game that they were showing at PAX. And so I'm working on getting them on the show. I think the game came out last year. But again, it's like the graphics looked gorgeous. The gameplay looked super fun, and I didn't spend a lot of time in lines to try different games at PAX just because there's so much going on. That's just not what I was doing. But again, another one, and they what I believe I believe the second game they were showing looked like they turned Overwatch into a fighting game, into a 2D fighter. Like that's kind of the the vibe that they were putting off. The characters were heavy. The when you hit something, the way the bass was on, like the sound design and everything, it was like, yo, this is pretty polished and pretty amazing. I think it was that one. Again, I was seeing so many different indies and so many different studios. So, but I'm fairly certain that Evernights was the one. Actually, I can get that name exact right here by checking the email the guy sent me. But a lot of good indies coming down the coming to the Switch. A lot of these are Ember. It's not Ever. It's Ember Nights. And again, it kind of resembles this top down shooter, but it kind of gave the Zelda Triforce Heroes or whatever. It kind of gave that vibe a little bit too. So I don't know. Could be. I want to check it out. I may have them. I may chat with them and see if we can get a couple copies of it, and then maybe even do a giveaway or something when they come on, because it looks like stuff that would be like right up our alley, like very similar to what we're seeing here. So how about Johnny? Anything you've been playing? You said you picked up what is it, Pepper Grinder or something like that?
Yeah, so I picked up Pepper Grinder. I think it just came out today. Like it
It did.
officially came out today. The demo has been out for a few weeks, I think, since the direct. And I didn't play the demo, but I really enjoy what I played so far. I only played like an hour. The controls are a little weird, but I kind of like that. It's a different type of game.
Which Cheesy, didn't you say that as well from playing the demo?
Yeah, I felt like the character was kind of hard to control, and I can understand where Johnny is coming from because it seems like that's kind of the point
That's
of
the
this
point,
game. Yeah, is that it is more on the difficult side, but for me, it became more frustrating than it was enjoyable. But
You just got
I
to get
think,
good.
yeah, probably. But I think that this game is creating a lot of noise right now. It looks great. It's just different. You know, there's not really a game like it right now. So it's probably going to be a lot that like people are playing. It's just not for me. And I wanted it to be, but after playing the demo, I learned that it's not for me, and that's okay because I saved money that way.
But
I
Johnny,
mean,
you are liking it.
yeah, I'm liking it. I played like I think 3 or 4 stages so far. It has collectibles that you can find. There's a bunch of unlockables to do. I wasn't listening. I don't know if the music's any good because I was just playing it while you guys were talking in my ear.
Oh, gotcha. I was gonna say, man, like it kills me that you don't listen to video game music because it's
It's
good.
fine.
No, it's good.
I'll listen to it later. But I did want to say the indie games have been getting me through this year, like big time. Balatro, I still play that. Like I try to play that every night. Try to do a run. I love that game to death. Uh, the and the games like that Nintendo has been releasing, they haven't been for me, really. We'll talk a little bit about Peach a little bit later, but the like Mario versus Donkey Kong was fine, but it just wasn't
Substantial.
yes, it wasn't substantial. I played Balatro for 25 hours, which I only played Mario versus Donkey Kong for like 5. But there's a bunch of indie games that I want to check out. There's another one. It's called Thunder Ray. It's on sale for like the next 3 hours. So if you're listening live, you might be able to get it. It's like it's like Punch Out.
Huh.
It's like exactly like Punch Out. Apparently, it's really difficult. But
Has it been
I
out
saw
for a
it.
while?
I think it's been out for some time. Somebody
Okay.
tweeted about, or I think Limited Run Games tweeted that they're going to be doing a physical edition, and I'm like, oh man, I wanted to check that game out when it came out, and I guess it came out a while ago. I just didn't know about it. That's a unfortunate thing about the eShop is like things come out all the
Things
time,
get
and
buried.
you just miss it. You just miss
Yeah.
a bunch of cool stuff because you have a bunch of H-word games coming out every week, or shovelware that is just garbage. But there are a lot of indie games out there that you should definitely give a shot. Like I'm excited to try this Metal Mind because it looks pretty good. It looks like I would say if anybody played Enter the Gungeon, it looks like Enter the Gungeon. It has a similar play style. The mechanics are similar. It looks like you upgrade your weapons, and that's what you do in Enter the Gungeon. So if you like Enter the Gungeon, you might like this game too. But yeah, indie
Cheesy,
games,
anything new and
they're gonna get
noteworthy
me
for
through
you?
this year. No, go ahead.
We hope so. We hope something gets you through.
Nothing indie wise. I do want to give a shout out to John Gaming in the Wild. That's somebody that I follow on Twitter and on YouTube. And I forget they also have a podcast. But anyway, they put out a video on their top 5 favorite deck builders. You gotta be careful how you say that. But
I know what's in there. I know what's in there.
Balatro is the first thing that is
Balatro.
mentioned in the video. And then it also does kind of talk about Marvel Snap, which isn't on the Switch, though it should be. It's kind of crazy that it's not. But
It's on Snap is only on Steam and
Yeah.
mobile, I think.
and
right?
mobile, yeah. I just feel like with how big Balatro is right now, it should be on the Switch.
Balatro is 1,000 times better.
Yeah. I really do want to check it out. I just haven't. And I just need to, I guess maybe April will be that time since we're not getting a Nintendo game. So
Yeah, honestly, the rest of the year will be that time.
no. No.
Oh,
But
sorry,
yeah, so I was
I
playing
can't say that.
playing a lot of Peach.
Okay.
I'm
Playing
sorry.
a lot of it, isn't it like a 3-hour game?
I beat it. No, it's longer than that.
Well, before we get into Peach, Crawler, and you've been playing anything?
A little bit of Peach. I think my daughter's been enjoying it a lot more than I have. I played a little bit of Splatfest this weekend, but mainly if I'm playing right now, I've kind of just been playing Nintendo and doing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm almost through that, and then getting ready to play Rebirth here in a little bit.
I've been playing Dragon's Dogma.
How's
It
that
is-
been?
It is so weird playing non-Nintendo games.
Like, why? Why do you say that?
I'm scared to say it.
Johnny's TikTok said this is what a full village looks like in a game when you walk in.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
there's NPCs and villages. The world is like really fully fleshed out, and it's just weird. I don't know. It's weird playing non-Nintendo games.
Gotcha.
Well,
It's just like a different vibe.
How about you, Josh? Besides this,
yeah, besides this, mostly Mario Kart, honestly. Like I've played a ton of Mario Kart from the streams and doing the pipe trial runs myself. Fired up Peach, got an hour into that, and then I've still been doing Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, I mean. I'm still been
Nice.
doing Tears a little bit here and there. So haven't spent a ton of time gaming, but have like I said, I streamed 3 hours today. So I played Mario Kart for 3 hours. So I mean that's that's a pretty big chunk of time. And the streams have been going like fantastic. If you guys are wanting to come hang out and race, it's every day around 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and it's been the streams have been crazy, like just crazy, and it's just on TikTok. We're not really streaming anywhere else. So except for like the podcast and whatnot. So and it's been cool watching people come out of retirement. Shout out to Aaron and Becca. They're like, we're not gonna do I'm not doing Mario Kart anymore. And then they've come out of retirement and started playing again. So it's just it's been a lot of fun, and just getting a ton of new people introduced to the community and getting them involved. So I'm just really stoked about that stuff. So hey, there there he is in chat. Thank you. So yeah, it's gaming has just been super fun. I know there's not been a ton of new stuff. If you guys didn't catch, F-Zero on GBA got announced, and that's playable.
And came out today, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out
It
today.
came out tonight. And then F-Zero 99 also got an update, so I'm sure Cheesy will be jumping back into that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while actually, so it'll be nice to get back into it and see. I think they also made some like nerfed some cards and did some buffs as well. So yeah, might be a new
I
experience.
thought they said they were done updating that game.
I don't
No,
think
it's
so.
just a legitimate question. Like I thought they said that they were done updating it.
After the 20-person classic races came out.
Or like, I thought they were like, this is the last update or the
I think
last maps or something.
Well, don't they still have? Did they ever do the king courses?
I
'Cause I know
think
that
so.
there was the knight and the queen, but I don't know if king has been released. Maybe it has, and that's how long it's been.
There, you can get 100 platinum points for completing a race, so I got to do that.
Yeah.
I'm broke. Gotta get my peach icons.
No, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I'm selective with that stuff now.
No more, not buying all the NFTs anymore, huh?
Yeah, I don't need to buy all the NFTs. If I start
I don't
going
buy
down a
them all.
rabbit hole
I
of an
don't buy all the
NFT,
Animal
I'll try to complete it. But
I don't buy the Animal Crossing one,
I don't buy the Animal Crossing. Yeah, that's too much.
and I don't buy Kirby ones either.
No, poor Kirby. Poor Kirby. Well, you guys have loved Peach so far, so I'll let Cheesy kick us off on that one.
I actually, if I may, I think it would be better if we get Crawler to talk about it first, so we can just hear like your opinions on it. Since I've beat the game, I think there is going to be a lot that I agree with you, but I just want to hear what you have to say first.
Sure. So I've gotten through. I think I've gotten to the first boss. I have not like gone through the portal or whatever to do it. I've done a ninja level, a cowgirl level, the baker level, and then what was the first one?
The sword fighter.
Sword fighter.
Yeah.
I think sword fighter is the only one that I like, mainly because I had done that in the demo and knew kind of what to find.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one that I 100%ed, like finding all the star, what are they called? Crystal,
The
star pieces.
sparkle.
Yeah. And I hate how, as you progress through the level, it's nice that you get a progress update as you get one, but if you miss one, you're pretty much locked out of having had a chance to get that at that point.
And you have to play through the whole level.
And you have to
again
play
if you
through the
want to do it.
whole thing again to do it. And Um, I think last week or week before Logan Plant or whatever at IGN I think did the review, and he was talking on IGN's podcast. He's like, this is one game I'm not going to 100% because it's too much of a hassle to go back in and track all that stuff down after you missed it. Like I restarted the pastry one like 2 or 3 times because I messed up like the first baking sequence where I like was a sliver off because you need to really focus on doing those double baker bowls to get the extra cookies or whatever. And then I got done with decorating the cakes, and then I think there was one random one that I missed on the way. I'm like, I'm not going to do all this again to just go track down one thing. So there's
The
no
cake one,
like,
you don't have to be that accurate. Like you could just icing it up.
yeah,
You're close
that one
enough,
that one
it'll
was a
be-
little bit easier than the cookie. The cookie one, like you had to focus on what you were doing if you wanted to get all three.
Gotta get that rainbow
Yeah,
with the chocolate chips. It's just so funny talking about this stuff. I was baking
But-
cookies.
but like the cowgirl one is definitely like reminiscent of like a Donkey Kong minecart level where it's at a certain point you're just going, and you better be aware of what's going around, and if you aren't, then you just got to restart it and memorize what you need to do. And I feel like this game almost punishes you for wanting to try to explore, because if you explore and you go the wrong direction that's like on the path that you're supposed to go, it locks you out of whatever kind of exploration that you might want to do.
Yeah, that happened to me
Just-
on the cowboy one or the
It's
cowgirl one.
it's too linear. Like it's because Mario games, I mean, it's almost Mario 1-esque where it's like you go forward and you're locked out whatever's behind you, and that's evolved since 1994 when, or not even. You could run backwards in 3, so you could run backwards
could
in
run
2.
backwards
That was
in
19. Yeah, so we've gotten past that, and in like this is the same creators that did Crafted World, right?
Yeah, and Woolly World.
And you could explore around in Crafted World. I don't get why this is just so hard locked on going forward, because I do want to explore. I want to find all this stuff, but I'm not this vested in this game to replay it 8 different times to try to track down something that might be a hidden spotlight that you got to go pose to go find stuff. I thought the ninja level was pretty fun with the wall jumping, and it was pretty creative with the hiding in the high grass and stuff. But so maybe you can give us a sneak preview as we advance if it gets a little bit better in some of the later levels, or if it's still just locking you into this. I'm assuming it's locking you into this ultra linear kind of punishes you for trying to explore around a little bit, but for the most part, some of the abilities are kind of cool, but it's frustrating as somebody that like 100%ed Mario Wonder. Like I would like to try to be a completionist on this, but it's too frustrating to want to do that.
I wonder if they could update the game to add in like checkpoints.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Because I'm sure that's a big criticism that they're hearing about this game. I had that criticism back when the demo just released.
Yeah, so
I do.
go ahead.
It's
Go ahead, Johnny.
clunky too. It's clunky too. I feel like it's very.
Yeah, it
It's
definitely
slow
does
to
not
slow to
run
get
well.
into a game, like, and you want it to advance. Like you have to go stand in front of the gates and wait for it to kind of. It's almost like it's invisibly loading stuff while it's kind of just forcing you to be waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I think I understand that this probably isn't meant for me, but like it should run better. It should run better. It should look better. Like the curtains on the loading screen, like the font is just like Times New Roman or just like some generic font. And the loading screens are too long at this point and in the Switch's life, and it should just run better. As for the game itself, the not having the checkpoints or not being able to go backwards is frustrating, especially if you like miss one of those sparkles. I do think the ninja power up is the best one. I thought it was charming that when you're in the grass, she holds up little bushes,
Mm-hmm.
and then she
The
like holds
water
up.
in that the water when you're underwater
You
with the
hold a
bamboo.
Oh
a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
bamboo
the
thing. Yep.
bamboo snorkel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that level was very charming. I think it was probably the most charming out of the first four. I did the first four. I did the first boss. Uh, I think Cheesy tweeted this. I'll probably mention it, but the boss fight was better than every Mario Wonder boss fight. I mean, Mario Wonder bosses were terrible. This one at least had some charm to it. It wasn't hard, but it was at least had something to it that wasn't just bop on the head 3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I almost like tweeted out the different images of the bosses, but I was like, this game hasn't even been out a week yet, and I don't want to be that
Don't
person.
be that guy.
I'm not going to be that person, but like the originality of these bosses compared to Super Mario Bros. Wonder is crazy to me that we didn't get more from Wonder when you see these bosses. I don't think the boss fights, there's a couple of them that are kind of clunky and they don't work exactly the way that you want them to. But still, like the originality of these bosses, the way that they play and the way that they look is just something nice to see in this series. If like just going forward, Cryptic asked, is this better game than the Super Princess Peach? To be honest, I didn't play Super Princess Peach. I've seen a lot of gameplay of it, and I think it is. I think it's a good start to becoming something that could be a big series going forward. I didn't want to cut you off, Johnny. So if you have more to say,
Oh no, I mean that's all because I didn't play. I only played like an hour. I played the first 4 doors and then the boss. And we talked about the sword fighter and the pasture, whatever the heck they call it before. I like the ninja power up the most. The cowgirl was okay. A little annoying at times with the horse. I kept running into the back of things. But I mean, I think the variety is
you
nice.
talked about like this game in the Switch's life cycle. One of the things I can't help but compare is Halo Reach was like the end of the 360 life cycle, and that game pushes that console to the max and looks like the cutscenes in that game are phenomenal. And it's kind of just sad that something that's been out for this long can't be optimized for, like, it's almost like they're developing past the capabilities instead of, and then it negatively affects it. And then when it should just be, they should know the hardware so well at this point that it would be running perfect, and it's not.
so what's crazy is this is the Unreal Engine. So
Okay.
I think you might be right in the sense that they are trying to power it up so much that the Switch can't run it. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just saying that that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
So I mean, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Like the fact that even when I was done and I beat the game, like I thought about going back and trying to 100% it because I'm like, it would be kind of cool to see what else you unlock. And towards the end of the game, like they let you kind of decorate the theater. So you have to have so many like sparkle gems, and then you can decorate the theater and how it looks. And the way that it does kind of lock you out is an issue for me. And I was like, well, Mario kind of does that sometimes with like auto scrollers. you have to start the level over. So that does
Yeah,
happen
but these
sometimes.
are much longer levels. These are like
But
10-minute levels.
well, but I mean I think they're pretty quick. Like you can get through them pretty quickly, but yes, if you are looking for the collectibles, they are longer. But the issue is like with Mario, you have like 3 like stars that you have to collect or something like that, 3 coins or whatever it is. And in this, like within the first act of each play, I think it's like 10 sparkle gems or something like that. And they do get shorter. So in the second play, I think it's like 5, and then the third act it's 3. And I could be wrong on that, but like they do get shorter. But it still is just like it's kind of a pain to think about going through. And like you said, Crawler, it does hurt that you're trying to explore these plays and the environment, but then it kind of locks you out of that room and you can't get back into it. So I mean, I agree with you guys there. The loading screens is really just a bummer because you can see what they were going for and how the curtain would move. And then even you haven't done the boss fight yet, Crawler, but the loading screen for that is like you can kind of count the frames. And I don't even know how frames work, but you can see frames, moving. And I think even just the dialogue is kind of clunky where you want to like advance the story, but it takes like a second or two just for new dialogue to pop up. So in a lot of regards, this is kind of a slow game. However, within the plays, I think they speed it up pretty well. The ninja one is a lot of fun. Like I would personally love a whole game like that, just Assassin's Peach and just kind of stealth mechanics. And like you guys were saying, it's got a lot of charm to it. Like when she's in the water, she's using bamboo to breathe, and she will use like a wall technique where she goes up against a wall and she's like camouflaged in with the scenery. And I think that's pretty cool.
She holds a drape of like the curtain or something like that. Next to her.
Yeah. Even though like her ponytail is showing, it still is very charming. And that's pretty much what I was expecting with this game, is just how much charm there is. Like as you get into the later levels, like the second act, say for the sword fighter play, you start with the sword fighter outfit. So it's just continuing the story that was already being told. And you don't have to like go find that outfit again. It's just starting that way. And even though it's still the sword fighter bit, they still add new gameplay to something that you've already played. So it's kind of like the first act is the tutorial for this power up. And now that you've gotten used to it, okay, let's have some more fun with it. And it does kind of play itself a little bit like this game in general. Like it's just a lot of go hit this enemy, jump on the boss. If you dodge the move, you just kind of stun them. But it's also a play, and I kind of find that charming in itself, is that it is playing out the way that a play would. Like the show must go on. The power up that for me that didn't work with this game, and I honestly was getting bored of, was the detective play. And it to me doesn't feel like it fits with the rest of the game, because a lot of the levels it's like Peach goes and beats up bad guys. It's a beat 'em up. But with the detective one, you are just reading, and it's slow, and you have to go talk to a lot of people to figure out what the clues are. There. And it just slows down the pace of the game, and you're like, I really wish I wasn't doing this. And that sucks to say. But I think that there was a lot of charm. I know that I was kind of a defender going into this game, but I got what I wanted out of it.
How long did it take?
Like 7-8 hours.
2 hours in loading screens.
Yeah. But no, I think the boss fights are really clever. It's a good start into where this direction can go. And honestly, this year, we are going to see so much Peach cosplay with all the different outfits that she has. The dashing Peach thief or whatever that one is, that one was actually a lot of fun. And what I like about the plays too is each one kind of has a different genre to it. So even like the ice skater one, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because it's just kind of ice skating. The animations in that are really good. Like you can tell that they studied how ice skaters move, and it's not just simple like skating on the ice. No, there's actually like technique to it, and it looks beautiful. I don't know. I had more fun with this than I thought I would, in the sense of like there are things that surprised me without kind of spoiler or spoiling anything that happens later on. There's just cute, charming effects. Like even the horse for the cowboy scene is like a marionette. You know, it's got
Mhm.
strings on it.
Mhm.
And I find that kind of charming. It still is set in a play, so you get to see kind of like the cardboard cutouts. There's a fire in one of the plays, but it's not actual fire, but they make it look like fire, just being a set piece.
Who came up with the stripe, almost prison-looking dresses for Peach? Either
Yeah, they're
vertical or horizontal. They both look bad.
yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, most of the dresses don't look great in this game.
Did you do
But
any of the challenges?
I did one of them, which was the sword fighter bit. Is that what you're talking about, Johnny?
Yeah, I know there's challenge. I guess I didn't get far enough to unlock them yet, but I know that there are challenges.
Yeah. So on
Um,
the first floor, it's like you talk to somebody and they're doing rehearsals for the sword fighting bit. And if you um, go a certain amount of time and you knock out as many enemies as you can, you will be rewarded with the prize. However, if you get hit once, the rehearsal ends. And then you have to kind of go back and do it again if you want to get the top prize. I think those are fine. I honestly didn't do the other ones because I was like, meh, this is this is too much for me. And I was just getting frustrated even if I got hit that seemed like it wasn't my fault. So I mean the challenges are there if you're wanting them. But I think overall, like I had a good time with it. There were things that I wasn't expecting. Um and I think the power-ups are really cool. It's just it's kind of an exciting thing to like be a part of this history, like even though it's like a made up character. It's Peach, one of the biggest video game characters of all time, even if she really hasn't been in anything like in her own game. She has now, and this is probably not like the end of that. Just this morning we saw that it's like the number one seller in Japan,
Mhm.
like 77,000 copies, I think, or I could be, I don't remember what the exact number is, but out of all the games that have come out this month, it's at number one.
I want the Peach on Vacation after Mario Odyssey game. Like
Yeah.
That's what I
what I
tweeted
want.
out. I'm like, what was she up to? What's Peach's Odyssey? You know,
Yeah.
with a Cappy and maybe a little more
Oh yeah,
like
she does
have
get
her
a cappy at the
floating.
end of that, huh?
Yeah, like I think they could really continue the story that way. I'm honestly very surprised at how much I'm enjoying this. Like I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I really liked the cowboy that we have on screen right now. I enjoyed this I enjoyed this quite a bit. I liked the lasso, the weapon and the way it worked for the boss fights and everything. Like I just had a good time with it. The the thing that I found the most it had like a little bit it had a nostalgia pull to it was the ninja because you start the level and you go if you guys have played Ninja Gaiden, you start that game almost identical to how you start the Peach the ninja level in Showtime. You do that almost identical jump up through the floor, and then there's enemies that you have to fight right away. And I was like, yo, this is like taken right out of Ninja Gaiden. And which was just crazy. But then I also got Ocarina of Time vibes when you were trying to avoid the knights with the or the samurais or whatever with the lights. I was like, this is giving me this is giving me
Hmm.
Ocarina of Time vibes, you know, and I liked it quite a bit. The charm in that level of the bamboo snorkel and the way she disguises herself to hide and all that kind of, like, I was like, this is a lot of fun. And I think we do see the limitations of the Switch. It's probably, it may have something to do with Unreal potentially. Like they may be trying to push it a little bit more than what it is capable of. But it, you know, it wasn't quite like Luigi's Mansion 3 uh immersion, but it's still the character, like she's not just like she's interacting with the world. She's not just in the world, and that helps quite a bit. Is the gameplay very simple and, you know, is it a little bit of a collectathon? Yes, those things are very true. And you know, I played the first level and collected everything, and I was like, oh, I'll just do the same when I got to the next. And then I'm like, oh, I missed something. I think it was even in this one where I'm doing the horseback, and I didn't I didn't take one path, so then I couldn't
Hmm.
get one of the stars and or one of the sparkles or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go back right now and do that, right? At least for capturing the gameplay for the show tonight. I was like, I'm just gonna keep going on. But I also didn't feel like these levels took too long. I know Johnny was saying that he's like, oh, it's like 10 minutes or whatever. And like, but I didn't feel like it was so much that I would be like annoyed to go back and look at it. Plus, it's like if I'm missing stuff and I thought I was looking pretty good, that means there is a little bit more to explore here, which when it comes to a game like this that's relatively easy, that hide and seek aspect of it is also adds a little more challenge, right? And so that I like I was okay with. And I mean, if you think about this, like it in a Mario game, you run, you jump, you step on heads, you know, you jump
Hmm.
on heads, whatever, and then that's it. This game, every act is a different, you know, is a different power up, a different move set. And so
I mean, but
there's a
that's kind
ton
of
of
what Galaxy was for Mario, though. You had the bee
in a
suit. You
way,
had
but a
the.
lot of those power ups only lasted like a few set, like they were short lived,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't a whole not it wasn't a whole level, you know. And I mean, it's, you know, Sunshine, you had Flood, that mixed things up, but like, you know, when I went and did the baking or whatever, I was like, this feels like a really well done Mario Party game. And
Hmm.
then this, you know, running with the lasso and everything, like they do just kind of like sometimes they do feel like advanced Mario Party games,
Hmm.
and I'm here for it, but still well done. I mean, there's kind of a lot to this. It's not just uh, just a you know, copy and paste, let's do the next level. It's like it's kind of a production. Like the whole thing is kind of a production. And I don't know, the charm really helped me appreciate it more and have a good time with it. And it's I'll probably have it complete before we do the next episode, just because like I'm having fun with it. And you know, like I think I saw somebody tweet. It might have been like Nintendo Fangirl or whatever, and she was like, "People are tweeting um that it's super easy and too short, and that's like my love language when it comes to
Hmm.
games, right?" Because I mean, look at Tears of the Kingdom. It's like, you know, you're gonna spend hours and hours and hours in that. Like, if I can play through this in you know 8 hours or less, like that's that's not such a bad thing. I had a great time with Mario versus Donkey Kong, just knocking that one out in like one, in a couple play sessions. It wasn't too overwhelming. So, uh, is this the game we needed right now during this where the Switch is at in its life cycle? I mean, maybe not. Maybe something a little more for everybody that was maybe Mario, right? But we just get wonder. It's like what do they put out right now that that's going to keep everybody happy? Another, like, are they going to drop Mario Kart right before their next big system? I don't think so. So,
Just tell us about the
like,
system. That's all I want.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
maybe that
wouldn't be
would
so
maybe that would
bad
help too.
if they would just tell us, hey, there's a new system coming out soon. We don't really have uh, much for this year, but like this is on the way. And even if they do have something new, like it's not. I don't think it would necessarily kill the sales of a new game if they announced a new system, especially if that system is backwards compatible. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know why they're doing it. Like I don't know why they just won't tell us. Like, hey, this is our plan. This is what we're gonna do.
well, I mean, we even saw in the news, right, that there's about 100, like 100 layoffs with contractors, and then some are
Yeah,
also
because
getting turned into employees because they're restructuring.
of the lull in
Hmm.
first party titles. That's what it said. Well, that's what one of the contractors said, I guess. So that makes me believe I'm not going to be eating that chip
All we need is one game. That's all we need.
As long as it's not Metroid Prime 4.
as long as it's not Metroid Prime 4.
I don't think it will be. I think Metroid Prime 4 is, personally, I think
It's
it's a
going to be a
ways out.
freaking Kirby game.
Yep.
That's gonna do you in. That would be
Yeah.
so. That would be
That would be
Kirby-
the
so many.
irony.
That would be so many Kirby games on Switch, though.
Yeah, but don't they? Isn't it the meme that the Kirby? There's always a Kirby
Kirby's
game at
kill
like the end.
systems. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
and-
Just going back to Peach and looking at this gameplay, I saw a lot of people online that were like, is this game good? And it's just like, I don't know. It's probably not challenging. It's probably not what it is that you're looking for, but is it fun? Yeah. And that's kind of what I
Is
expect
it?
with. I think it is. I think this is very charming. Even like just the set that they have built and every play that you go into,
Does
Peach
that
has
make it fun though? It makes
Peach
it
has a
charming.
different
Oh, Josh
animation.
died.
Josh died. Oh my god.
see?
It's not that easy of a game, I guess.
It is challenging.
Mario Odyssey style just takes 10 coins and puts you back in.
I mean,
So,
it
I mean-
definitely is charming. I don't know about like necessarily fun.
Well, is that how you felt about? And I'm just like curious. Is that how you felt about Woolly World and Crafted World?
It's the same thing. I don't like. I wish Goodfield didn't make this game. Like I wish they would have given it to a different developer because Goodfield. I don't like Goodfield games. They are never appealing to me.
And why was Nintendo secretive about it too?
So I saw that Nintendo Life actually put out an article about like why has Nintendo been secretive about their publishers lately? Because we've seen this not only with Peach, but we saw it with Super or Mario RPG, and then also with
And
another code
And the Mario voice.
and the Mario voice. That one I think is a little different. Maybe kind of falls under the same thing, but they were saying that it's possible that they don't want fans to go and start like asking questions about the game to all of these developers or, hacking and leaking the games early. So there's a possibility there, or maybe it's just like it falls under the Nintendo umbrella and Nintendo is really big. So if you know that this game is made by Nintendo or has the Nintendo labeling on it, you'll probably purchase it. But it
Guilty,
could be
all four of
also
us.
for the fact that if people don't like good feel games, then they're like, oh, I'm not even going to bother.
But I mean, I think we said last week when we were was it last week we were talking about the demo, or 2 weeks ago? Like, I think all of us said it had Crafted World vibes to it. So I mean, we as Nintendo fans deduced down kind of how it felt. It had fingerprints on it. It's just we're just left to our assumptions, which is not always a good thing either. Like, just confirm it.
Yeah,
we didn't
I mean,
know that Next Level Games was making strikers for the longest time.
we
We still
didn't know
don't
that.
believe that.
Yeah, I don't think we knew. I don't think we knew for a while.
I think you're right. I think we just assumed just because they had made the previous Striker games. But yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I don't know. Good feel games, they just don't. They don't have that polish that other Nintendo made games have.
But what is the? Are you talking about like how it runs, or
Yeah, how it runs, just how it feels to play. Like you're pressing one button, or
Two
I guess
buttons.
two
Two
buttons.
yeah?
Two buttons.
Again, I do think that
Like
there
does
are
it, like
some.
are you saying pressing two buttons is fun? Is
I
that
don't know,
fun?
man. I was smiling. Like there were times where, yes, it is kind of that pace where it's just like, okay, I know that I have this power up.
I
I
mean,
gotta hit this button.
I agree that it is charming. Like there are charming parts to it, but
Yeah,
I don't think it's a fun game to play
and that's fine. That's your opinion.
because it's just a collectathon and a kind of beat 'em up, kind of, but not really.
I mean, you guys
and
haven't
like Mario Party mini games.
Yeah, you haven't gotten through like the rest. I would play like even the second acts
Because we don't
these
feel like
plays.
I don't feel like I want to play the rest of the game.
Josh does.
And that's
What
fine.
I
You
feel
don't
like-
have to.
I feel like this plays and feels a lot like a Kirby game, which makes me understand why Johnny wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Like it's like you get a power up in a Kirby game, but you can't let go of it until you beat the stage. Right?
Nate
And-
coming in hot here though.
Yeah, no, that has nothing to do with this. This game, even like all the reviews have said, this game feels like it was made for kids, and it is made for kids. So of course I'm not gonna like it. I mean,
And my 8-year-old daughter is, I think, enjoying it. I think she's, I don't know. Oh, Josh, you missed a sparkle there.
and
I know, I was
maybe
very
it's made for
annoyed.
Josh because it seems like it's very difficult for him.
I think my 10-year-old was helping out a little bit when she was getting frustrated, and I've had a conversation with her about, like, because the same kind of conversation I've had to have with William, which is like, you don't get better by me taking the controller or somebody else taking the controller. This is made for you to learn from your mistakes and kind of work and get better. So it is teaching a little bit of some of the more kind of tedious stuff. Like the level that Josh is doing right now, the baking one. Like I said, I restarted a few times just to try to maximize and 100% it. And Josh is almost going to lose another sparkle here.
Oh, he
But he
figured
got
it out.
But I think for the most part she's enjoying it, and kind of it's definitely made for her demographic, and I think she's enjoying it, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Johnny, like maybe it's not fun for you. Fun for me is when they add little details, and attention to detail I think is huge, and it just shows that they wanting to make it more than just a Peach game. Like they want to give it personality. And even though it is maybe just a simple push a button here and there, to me that is Nintendo when you add the charm of it. And yeah, we maybe have had better games like Odyssey. I mean, that's a different kind of game to compare it to. But it's just kind of nice to see Peach get a turn in the spotlight, even if it wasn't a great first impression. There's possibilities of getting more in the future. and maybe they do.
If it's made by Goodfield, it's going to be the same thing. That's the thing.
Probably.
Like, I don't want it to be made by Goodfield. If they make another Peach game, which they will, because this is probably going to do pretty well. I do want to see what they would do with the sequel, but I don't want to be made by Goodfield. But they're going to.
It's interesting to hear you say that you don't find them very polished, because I feel like Yoshi, both those games were like, I feel like they knocked a lot of things out of the park with those games, where it was like you felt like you were playing on Yarn. Like, how do you get that to translate to your controller via sound and just the overall feel of the game, right? Like, I understand this game feeling a little bit like clunky, and again, I wonder if it has to do with the engine and how much they were trying to do on the Switch, and even like right here, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
and that's why
hold
they're
down the
flashing
button?
controls down on the
Like,
bottom. It's like, hey, click on our button. Well, yeah, because they don't tell you. And so it kind of seems weird that they didn't have a pop-up to be like, here's how you do this.
Especially if it is a kid's game, like the kid's not going to see the little controls at the bottom to press X,
it but at the same time, all that aside, like, I still was just like, almost questioning, why am I enjoying this so much? Like, this level, we talk about it being easy and for kids, but like, did any of you guys complete all the cakes and all the missions, or just get through the end of the level?
I got all the cakes.
I got the maximum stuff for
bit.
the cakes and the cookies, but I missed one random one at the back end of the level. So it's like I'm not going to go back in and do it again.
Yeah, and so, like, I don't know. There's a lot of really, really like fun ideas. Maybe some of the execution on it isn't done like exactly how we would like, but at the same time, like, this is a weird Nintendo game, right? Like, and I use that term loosely, but like, this is Nintendo taking a risk, right? It's not just the same. Like, they could have made a 3D, a 3D Peach platformer, and maybe the conversation would be different, but like, they didn't just make her, player 3 in the Mario Brothers, right? Like Luigi's got his own shtick with the poltergust and the ghosts and all that kind of thing. Like, do we see sequels in the Showtime series? I don't know. It feels like a one and done kind of game from just the first part that I've played. I don't.
Well, they'll probably do something like, didn't Goodfield do Crafted World? Did they do Woolly World as well?
They did, and they did Canvas Curse, which was Kirby.
The Kirby game.
They did WarioWare, or not WarioWare, Wario Land, Shake It.
So, I mean, they could do another Peach game, but maybe it's not Showtime. Maybe it's like Woolly Peach.
Well, and you talk about like the
Yarn Peach
confidence or whatever. It's like in Crafted World, I think they had the confidence and the polish because the world was just open for you to go through forward, backwards, whatever way you wanted to go. And maybe it's a restriction of the engine. Maybe it's they were in a time crunch to kind of get it out. But like this game, the fact that you advance and it just locks you out. Like I even looking at where one of the sparkles was in the Western one, it was behind the barrels or whatever. At the front of the saloon, I had gone up top early on and didn't do that. But like you even walk out through the front gate, I don't think the sparkle was there if you missed it that first time. So it's like, why everything's just on its island, kind of separate. I don't know.
I'm going to come back next week after I complete this one. So we'll see. We'll see. Like, if
I mean,
I'm true to my
I don't
word or
know if
not.
I
But
would recommend this game over other Nintendo games on the Switch. Like, I would not recommend this over
Balatro.
Pilastro. Pilastro is much cheaper. Uh, but like either even Nintendo made games. Like I would recommend Kirby Fallen or Forgotten Land before I'd recommend this, or
If you
Mario
just put
Wonder
enough
for
frosting on
sure.
this thing, it just
Yeah,
figures it
it
out.
doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. And especially at the price point it is, like it's a $60 game.
Mhm.
I don't. It's hard to recommend it. I mean, I understand that it would be good for kids and um, probably not 35-year-old man demographic. Use a voucher. There you go. Save $10.
that's what I did. I did. I'll probably still pick up a physical just to have it in the first party collection at this point. But uh,
But
yeah,
like, would you recommend this getting it because there's 3 or 4 games coming out in the next couple months? Would you recommend because not everybody can get every game?
Sure.
Like, would
sure.
you recommend this over getting Paper Mario or getting over Luigi's Mansion 2?
Again, I mean, you kind of said it. I think it depends on what kind of game you're looking for or the age range. Like, if it's a little kid, probably play Peach out of the other two that are coming out, Paper Mario or Luigi's Mansion. Like, maybe those games are going to be a little too difficult for them. But if you're older and you're looking for more of a challenge, then yeah, maybe this isn't a game for you.
Aaron says it feels Peach Showtime feels like a great movie follow up more than a game sequel, and that that's true too. The the thing about recommending this game, like, I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but I am enjoying it. Right, I would be recommending it to uh anybody with younger kids, right? Whether they were like my sister has 5 boys. If I set this game in front of them, they would eat it up. They would have a great time with it. They're all ages 10 and younger. Like they would love it. I have no because like I think for them they just see like and like kind of leaning into what Aaron said about it coming off the movie, like she was a she was pretty awesome in the Mario movie. She was very Princess Leia, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, and I think this game, especially for we have to remember, like when you can complete things, it makes the game more fun. We started this show talking about a game that was more difficult. That was making me want to go back and complete it. But if you're a younger, and even Crawler mentioned it with his daughter, the older one was helping the younger one, right? Like if the skill level of this game is set to such a way that like, they can have that sense of completion uh at a younger age, whereas like you put Thousand Year Door in front of them, they're like, there's so much reading, I don't care about the combat. You put
Well, and there's comedy
RPG.
in those Paper Mario games that go over their head too.
Sure, but I mean, when you say would you recommend this game, it's gonna strictly depend on one, what is your collection of games like? If you pretty much have every first party Nintendo game, then yeah, get it, play it. You'll have a good 8 hours with it and call it good. If if you've got young kids and you want something you know to play with them, great. I mean, my daughter was 6 when she beat uh 3D World, but she had to use the white Tanuki suit most of the time to have the which basically gave you a star power whenever you needed it. And and uh, uh, she couldn't complete a lot of those levels without that, so it was that was made you know for her, like, and she loved it. And so I think it really would just depend on who is going to be asking that question, right? And what their library is like. But again, if I put this game in front of my 5 nephews, age range 10 to, like, I don't know how the youngest is, maybe 3 or 4 or something, like, they're all gonna have a good time with the hardest thing for them is just they're gonna fight over whose turn it is to play, right? Because there's 5 of them and it's a single player game. So that's gonna be the most difficult. But I mean, if you're a mom or a dad with younger kids, this is a great game, a training wheel game, if you will, for them to be able to go through and beat stages. And then if you want to go through and find everything, which, think about it as a kid, like, this is going to sound a little bit silly, but like, one of my favorite magazines when I was a little kid was called Highlights, right? Some of you guys probably remember those, reading them in the doctor's office and stuff. But like, one of the best parts of those magazines were just the collectathon of trying to find everything that was hidden in the cover. Or I think maybe it was later in the magazine, there was another, like, can you spot the
Or I think
bird?
the
Like,
cover folded out usually, and it was like a big,
yeah. And so that's the way stuff is hidden in this game. It's almost like it's almost like two games in one. Because when we were sitting here watching the cowboy level, I went, oh, those were the 2 stars I missed. I needed to collect all the little pieces, and then I needed to get the one from the star that was on the back of the horse.
and I saw where I
know.
missed the opportunity on the bridge to cut up, like to go to the upper bridge, because I was wondering if you could just make the jump from lower bridge to upper bridge, but I don't think you can.
Yeah, so it, like, if you think about from the mind of a child, like, there's a lot of magic happening here that, yeah, it may not be, um it 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 may not be hitting with us, but at the same time, I tried to stay in that mindset even playing this, and it was like, I just had a good relaxing time with the game. When I'm playing Mario Kart, I'm sweating my face off trying to keep up with everybody and not get hit by shells, and getting called a hacker by my chat every time I win and all that stuff. Like, it was a nice change of pace. But it's not going to be the game that, this isn't going to be Helldivers that everybody's talking about and everybody's excited about playing. Like, it's not to use the word where everybody's going to take a drink, but it's a little more niche. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And these are the games we don't see when Nintendo isn't healthy, like I was saying, on the Wii U, or, when they're like, they don't have that freedom, when the company's
I want
not doing
Canvas
as
Curse to
well.
come back. Those are actually fun Kirby games. We don't have a
And
touchpad though.
yeah, and I mean, even the Kirby game with the mechs or whatever, it felt like a Mega Man game, right? Like, there's some Kirby games that are fantastic, but there's just, I don't know, the amount of charm and the way I could relax with this game. I was on board, because even Tears of the Kingdom at times feels like a job, because you're like, there's so much to, like, I got to go try to find shrines, and I want to level up, and I got, like, I'm building this, I'm building that. Like, just the simplicity of this game was somewhat refreshing for me. But again, I understand it's not the like killer app that everybody is wanting to play right now. And so, that's okay. What did Nate say? I'm giving my kid Celeste, and he can't have another game until he gets all the strawberries.
Oh,
I mean,
brutal.
There's a baby mode in Celeste though.
yeah, when you're trying to get achievements on Xbox, it's the easiest way to do it. Wink. And the other game you need to just give him, Nate, is have him play the first Turtles game. Tell him he doesn't get any other games until he beats the first Turtles game. So, well, I wanted to touch a little bit on PAX, guys. I got to spend some time with Nintendo, and having good conversations with them, and more conversations are happening.
What games were they
And
promoting there, Josh?
they were promoting Pokemon Arceus, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And but I'll even say this: I got to they gave me a tour. They moved me to the front of the line in the the so they added switches to the card game area, and it was something they first introduced it at Nintendo Live. And what was really cool is the lady who was heading up that program was my coach in the session that I played. And I believe they were the 3 teams that you could rent were the teams that she put together. And so it was just really like kind of getting the behind the scenes, honestly, of like of the whole Pokemon thing, and playing that game competitively. Like I did have a really good time with uh with it. I just it was a lot of fun. And then even jumping in and doing the card game again just so I could get the pin, the PAX pin, like and it's the pin is that new little like that little tiny fish that goes inside the mouth of the big fish. If you guys have the DLC, you probably have seen it. I guess they're probably available everywhere because they don't think they don't lock it out or whatever. But
Was it an official PAX pin, or was it like similar to what they had at Nintendo Live?
no, it's an official PAX pin. They do them they do them. I probably have, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them now because TCG is always at PAX Unplugged also. So,
Okay.
so yeah, so they do an official pin, which is super cool. And I don't know, overall PAX was just it was a fun experience. Again, I heard people say, hey, it's not as big as it was in years past. You know, Nintendo had a tiny little footprint where before it was like almost as big as E3. You know, there was no Xbox, there was no Sony, like Atari was there. I believe Square was there, and you know, a number of different indie developers and publishers
Was Team
were there as
Cherry there?
well. I don't believe so. I did talk to some of the team from Way Forward, and that just again a number of different indie studios that are going to end up coming onto the show and talking about their projects, because it is like giving these indies more um, just more press is important to me. Like like some of these teams are tiny. It's just a small group of people that are working on these games in their free time while they're still doing their regular jobs. And it's like, you know, a handful of interviews and getting their name out there and getting buzz around their game could be the difference between being able to go full time into the game industry or having to stick with their regular 9 to 5. And so you can see the blood, sweat, and tears that go into a lot of these games. And so that's why I want to try to get more of them on NPC, and just learning about different, you know, the whole beginning of the show is basically because, you know, people in the community were talking about different games that they're like, hey, we want to know more about different indies and stuff like that. And so especially in this time where things are kind of a lull, it's like, well, we're all going to probably be jumping into different indies, and I'm looking for the ones that I think are the, you know, the cream of the crop when they're emailing me. And that's, you know, that's why Metal Mind or whatever was one that I was like, yeah, send it to me, because I don't like having them send me games and then I don't do any coverage on them or even put them on my Switch, and the code's just sitting in you know, just floating in
Another
space at
Crab's
that
Treasure
point.
just
So
went gold.
Does that
Yeah,
come
I
out?
think
okay.
That comes out here pretty soon.
25th,
April
right?
25th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of small indies, like how's Xenoblade 3 going, Johnny?
It's I don't have the
Matt
brain
laughs that I
capacity to
haven't
play
turned
it
it
right
on in a
now.
while.
I mean, I'll
Nate's
get
been
back to it.
loving. Nate keeps keeps talking about Penny's Big Breakaway, right? And that game got some kind of graphical update
Yeah, got a
today.
new patch.
Yeah, got a patch today. So
I
lots of
love
good.
I love indies. I love them. Like
Mhm.
I think I was first introduced to indies with Shovel Knight. Like I backed that on Kickstarter. I remember it took years and years and years and years to come out, but when it did, it's still one of my favorite games ever. So I try to check out indie games as much as I can, and there's a bunch of cool ones out there. And those are the games that are really trying to move the industry forward with the types of mechanics. Like those are the different mechanics you're going to see. Like Pepper Grinder, it has a completely different way of movement. Same with Penny's Big Breakaway. Like that's where you're going to get your variety in games. So if you're sick of the samey platformers and FPSs, like check out some indie games.
There's that loading screen we were talking about. That's you can count the frames there. So no, it's yeah, Nate saying Sea of Stars. Like there's a lot of good stuff on the horizon. Some of the studios we're gonna have come on, they're not they're hoping their game does well enough on Steam that they can then, switch as their next destination. So that's why I'm like, well, come on the show, tell that story, and hopefully we can help move the needle for you that it does find that success. Yeah. Crimpus Chrome says Celeste 64. Like, I don't know if you
They
guys
kind of
saw
made
this,
that.
but it's available. You can play it on is it itch.io or whatever, I think is where it's
I think so. Yeah.
located, maybe. Yeah. Uh so you can go
It took
check
them a
that out, which
week
is
to
just
make.
right. Yeah, like
Yeah.
almost like a game jam project. So pretty cool. And again, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that helped make PAX a reality. I do believe um, uh, it was a life-changing trip, honestly. So I'm just very, very grateful for all of the support and help to get me there. And I think that's going to do it, guys. We hit an hour and 22 minutes. So thanks so much if you're here with us live. We love you. If you're listening after the fact, you're amazing. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye now.